Dear spectators of the human tragedy, in this dimly lit room, shadows dance like whispers of forgotten dreams. They twist and twirl, just like the lies that weave their way into the hearts of the unsuspecting. Here, in this chaos, I stand, a reflection of the darkness that festers within us all. I am the architect of my own demise, a puppeteer tangled in strings of my own making. Oh, how the light dares to flicker, illuminating the twisted path that led me here. Once, I wore the crown of reverence, a beacon of admiration. They gazed upon me with wide eyes, hungry for my words, thirsty for the promises I spun. I rose like a phoenix, but, oh, how foolish was I to believe my own flames were eternal. The first lie slipped from my lips like honey, sweet and intoxicating. It was a mere whisper, a gentle breeze that grew into a tempest, shifting power dynamics as effortlessly as a shadow fades at dusk. But arrogance, my dear companion, is a poison. With every ounce of confidence, I climbed higher, blind to the abyss that loomed below. I laughed at the thought of falling, convinced that I was untouchable, invincible. Yet, in that very arrogance lay the seeds of my downfall, planted deep in the soil of my hubris. I was a king in a castle built of sand, and the tide was rising. As I reflect on that rise, I see now the web I spun, delicate yet deadly. Each thread, a story, a manipulation, weaving a tapestry of deceit that ensnared not only others but myself. I played the part so well, draping my facade like a silken cloak, but behind it lurked a heart that beat with the rhythm of desperation. The laughter echoed, but the silence that followed was deafening. For every truth I twisted, a piece of my soul unraveled, leaving me with an emptiness that no amount of power could fill. The darkness is a cruel friend, but it is also a teacher. It reveals truths that light often obscures. It whispers secrets of strength forged in the fires of solitude. And as I sit here, surrounded by the remnants of my ambition, I realize that the very lies I spun to elevate myself have become the chains that bind me. I walk through a hall of mirrors, but all I see are reflections of a man who thought he could dance with shadows and emerge unscathed. Yet, amidst this chaos, I find clarity. In the depths of my isolation, I understand that every action bears consequences, and every lie, no matter how sweet, eventually turns bitter. I have crafted my own prison, a gilded cage adorned with the trappings of power, but it is still a cage. The irony is rich, and it tastes like ash on my tongue. So here I stand, a monument to my own folly, a testament to the fragility of trust. I invite you to gaze upon this spectacle, to witness the unraveling of a man caught in his own web. For in this darkness, there lies a lesson, a reminder that the higher one climbs, the further they fall. And in the end, it is the truth that remains, a relentless force that will not be silenced. The darkness does not consume me, it shapes me, molds me into something stronger, something more aware. And as the shadows gather, I embrace my fate, knowing that the time will come when justice, in all its grim and beautiful forms, will reveal itself. In this theater of shadows, I stand as both judge and jester, a maestro conducting a symphony of lies. The air is thick with deceit, a palpable fog that wraps around the throat like a serpent, squeezing ever tighter. It is here, in this abyss, that the true anatomy of manipulation reveals itself, a grotesque tapestry woven with threads of greed and ambition. Each lie is a note in this dark melody, a haunting echo that reverberates through the chambers of trust, turning allies into mere echoes of what they once were. The strategies of the manipulator are as intricate as a spider's web, shimmering in the dim light yet deadly to those who stumble into its embrace. Every truth twisted, every fact contorted, crafted with the precision of a surgeon wielding a scalpel. I recall the moments when I played with words, molding them like clay, shaping perceptions to fit my narrative. It was a dance, a seductive waltz that lulled the unsuspecting into a false sense of security. They believed, oh how they believed. They clung to my words like moths to a flame, unaware that the warmth would soon turn to ash. But why do they fall for such lies? It's the allure of trust, that intoxicating elixir that blinds the mind and dulls the senses. People crave connection, a bond that whispers of safety and understanding. In their hunger for validation, they overlook the warning signs, the flickers of doubt that dance at the edges of their minds. I became a mirror reflecting their desires, and in that reflection, I found my power. It was exhilarating, intoxicating, yet dangerously fragile. For every bond formed in deception is built on quicksand, destined to collapse under the weight of truth. Behind the facade, I maintained an illusion of control, an elaborate masquerade that concealed the chaotic truth. My smile was a mask, a painted grin that hid the tempest within. I became a master of disguise, each fabricated story a brushstroke on the canvas of my existence. The world saw a leader, a visionary, while I felt like a puppet dangling from invisible strings. But as the lies piled up, so did the cracks in my armor. Each deceit, a chisel carving away at the stone, threatening to reveal the hollow core beneath. In those early days of deceit, the rewards were sweet. The taste of power was like nectar on my tongue, intoxicating and heady. I reveled in the fleeting successes, each victory a fleeting high that masked the sinking weight of my conscience. I soared on the wings of my own ambition, but with each ascent came the siren call of impending doom. The higher the climb, the sharper the fall. I was a king in a castle of lies, and the winds of truth were beginning to howl at the gates. Yet, within this dance of deceit, I found a strange comfort. The darkness became my ally, a refuge where I could embrace the chaos without fear. I learned to thrive in solitude, to harness the strength that comes from confronting the shadows that linger at the edges of my existence. I wrapped myself in the cloak of my own making, and in that garment, I found a twisted sense of power. For it is in the depths of despair that true strength is forged, amidst the ashes of trust betrayed and dreams shattered. But as I stand here, amidst the ruins of my own ambition, the bitter taste of realization creeps in. Each lie I spun, every truth I distorted, is a thread that binds me tighter to my own downfall. The darkness may be my crucible, but it is also my tormentor. I am both the creator and the captive of this web, a prisoner of my own making. And as I gaze into the abyss, I see not just the reflection of a manipulator, but the echoes of all those I've deceived, a haunting reminder that the darkness I embraced is now my greatest adversary. In this moment of reckoning, I understand that the power I sought is nothing but a fleeting mirage. The shadows may reveal strength, but they also expose the fragility of trust, the delicate threads that connect us all. And as the clock ticks on, I brace myself for the inevitable unraveling, for the truth, much like the dawn, cannot be held back forever. It looms on the horizon, relentless and unyielding, ready to shatter the illusions I so carefully crafted. The darkness may have shaped me, but it will not define me. The reckoning is coming, and I am ready to face it head-on. In the depths of a darkened heart, where shadows breed and smother the light, I find myself standing at the precipice of my own demise. The air is thick with the scent of betrayal, an acrid perfume that clings to the skin, a reminder of the alliances I once forged. Each heartbeat echoes like the tolling of a bell, heavy, mournful, and inevitable. This is the moment of reckoning, where the first cracks appear in the facade I so carefully constructed, where the shimmering web of deceit begins to fray at the edges. The shattering of illusions is a symphony, a cacophony of gasps and whispers, as those I once manipulated begin to see the truth. Their eyes, once filled with adoration, now glimmer with doubt. The applause that once rang in my ears now morphs into a chorus of condemnation, a haunting melody that resounds in the hollow chambers of my soul. I remember the faces, the laughter, now mere ghosts of a past that feels like a distant dream. The foundation of my empire, built upon lies, now trembles beneath me, a castle of cards poised for collapse. Betrayal from my allies cuts deeper than any blade. Trust, that delicate thread, frays with every whispered rumor, every hushed conversation that turns against me. They scatter like leaves in the wind, those once loyal souls, their betrayal a bitter fruit that festers in the pit of my stomach. I see their faces twisted in contempt, the once familiar smiles now replaced with sneers of disdain. It is a cruel irony. The very bonds I twisted for power have become the noose that tightens around my throat. In this growing storm of paranoia, I find myself encased in a prison of my own making. Shadows dance around me, mocking my descent into madness. I am haunted not just by the ghosts of those I've wronged, but by the relentless whispers of my own mind. They say power corrupts, but what they don't tell you is that it isolates. Each secret I kept, each lie I spun, has erected walls that now close in on me. I am both the architect and the inmate, trapped within the very fortress I built to protect myself. And the audience? Oh, how fickle they are. Their adoration once felt like warm sunlight on my back, but now it has morphed into a cold, biting wind. The very air grows thick with skepticism, a suffocating blanket that wraps around me, stifling my last breaths of confidence. I can feel the shift, palpable and raw, a tidal wave of disillusionment crashing over the shores of my ambition. The admiration that once buoyed me now threatens to drown me in its depths, where the truth lurks like a shark, waiting to feast upon my carcass. As the lies unravel, I can't help but feel a twisted sense of satisfaction at the chaos blooming around me. Justice, it seems, has a cruel sense of timing. The very web I wove to ensnare others now entangles me, pulling taut with each revelation. I watch with morbid curiosity as the pieces fall into place, the grand puzzle of my undoing slowly revealing itself. The threads I spun are tightening, and in this dark theater of retribution, I find myself both the performer and the plaything. But let's not pretend, this is not merely about my fall from grace. It is about the nature of darkness and the power it holds. In these shadows, I confront my demons, and they whisper the truths I've long buried. Each lie exposed is a reminder, a shard of glass embedded deep. The pain is exquisite, a bittersweet reminder of my hubris. I am no longer the puppet master, I am the marionette, string severed, spiraling into the void of my own making. And so, I stand here, on the brink of everything I once held dear, watching the empire of lies crumble. Justice may be a slow river, but it flows steadily, unyielding. As I gaze into the abyss of my actions, I come to understand the profound lesson buried in this chaos. The darkness, while a crucible for strength, is also a mirror reflecting my own frailty. The reckoning is not just coming, it is here, and I must face it without the mask I once wore. The final curtain is about to fall, and I can only hope to emerge from the shadows, reborn or ruined. In the theater of isolation, where silence reigns supreme, I find myself draped in the heavy cloak of solitude. It wraps around me like a suffocating fog, reminder that the very power I wielded has forged chains that bind my spirit. Each echo of my own footsteps feels like a mockery of the camaraderie that once thrived in the light. How ironic that the throne I built with deceit now sits cold and empty, a monument to my own downfall. The laughter that once filled these walls has faded, replaced by the chilling whispers of ghosts, shadows of those I once called allies, now mere specters haunting the corridors of my mind. I recall the faces of those I turned against, the friends who became foes in the relentless pursuit of my ambition. They were once the light in my darkness, the flickers of trust that illuminated my path. Now, they are the very darkness that engulfs me, their betrayal a bitter reminder of the cost of my ascent. Each name is etched in my memory like scars, reminders of the bonds I shattered in my quest for power. I stand alone, a king with no kingdom, surrounded by the desolation I created. The throne room echoes with the absence of their voices, each silence a dagger thrust into my heart. The emotional toll of my deceit weighs heavy, a relentless storm of anxiety that crashes against the fortress of my mind. I am the architect of my own despair, the keeper of secrets that fester and rot in the corners of my soul. The lies I spun, once intoxicating, now coil around me like a serpent, squeezing tighter with each passing day. The exhilaration of manipulation has given way to a gnawing dread, the very foundation of my existence built on a quicksand of falsehoods, ready to swallow me whole. I feel the walls closing in, the pressure mounting, as the truth lurks just beyond the veil, ready to storm in like an unwelcome guest. And yet, in this solitude, I am confronted by the stark irony of my situation. The very web I crafted to ensnare others has become my prison. I am trapped in a labyrinth of my own design, each twist and turn leading me deeper into the shadows. The darkness, once a tool for control, now serves as a mirror, reflecting the frailty of my spirit. I am left to ponder the true cost of power, a price paid not just in loyalty lost, but in the very essence of my humanity. It is in these shadows that I find a strange clarity. The solitude, though suffocating, offers a moment of introspection, a chance to confront the monster I have become. I stare into the abyss of my choices, and it stares back with an unsettling familiarity. The darkness does not merely consume, it reveals. Each lie laid bare is a lesson carved into my very being, a testament to the fragility of trust. I realize now that the power I coveted came at the expense of my soul, a transaction that has left me bankrupt. As I face the desolation I have wrought, I can almost hear the laughter of those I've wronged, echoing through the hollow chambers of my heart. It is a haunting sound, a symphony of judgment that reverberates through every empty space. I cannot escape the reality I have created, a realm where the shadows dance and the light is but a distant memory. The price of manipulation is steep, and I stand alone to pay it. In this moment of reckoning, I am left with a choice, to drown in the darkness or to rise from its depths. The solitude may be my shroud, but it is also my crucible, a place where I can forge a new understanding of strength. The journey through this abyss is fraught with pain, but within that pain lies the potential for rebirth. I am not just a victim of my own design, I am also the architect of my redemption. The shadows may linger, but they will not define me. I will emerge from this darkness, not as the manipulator I once was, but as a force shaped by the very trials that sought to consume me. In the end, it is solitude that reveals the truth, a truth I must confront if I am to reclaim my existence from the clutches of despair. The reckoning is not merely a consequence, it is an opportunity, a chance to redefine power not through deceit, but through the resilience that arises from the ashes of my own making. In the dim light of reality, shadows stretch and twist, creeping forth like the very lies that once danced upon my lips. The stage is set for the grand unveiling, a spectacle where the curtain rises on the truth that has long been shrouded in deception. Each thread of my web, meticulously woven with deceit, now frays under the weight of its own design. What was once a fortress of power is crumbling, the stones whispering secrets that have long been buried beneath layers of falsehood. The air is thick with anticipation, as if the universe itself holds its breath, waiting for the moment when the mask will slip and the world will witness the unraveling of a carefully constructed facade. Time, that relentless thief, has begun to gnaw at the edges of my empire. It reveals the cracks, the fissures, like a slow leak in a grand dam. The first drop of truth falls, a solitary tear that echoes through the silence, and suddenly, the floodgates are breached. The whispers grow louder, morphing into a cacophony of accusations and doubts. The very allies who once stood by my side, cloaked in admiration, now turn their backs, their eyes filled with the venom of betrayal. Like a house of cards, the empire I built with cunning hands collapses, each piece falling away, revealing the hollow shell beneath. In this moment of reckoning, desperation claws at my insides, a feral beast hungry for control. I scramble to piece together the fragments of my crumbling empire, grasping at shadows, at echoes of what once was. But the truth is an unyielding force, a tide that cannot be stemmed. It crashes against my defenses, tearing away the illusions I so carefully constructed. I am not just a puppet master, I am the marionette, flailing in a dance of chaos as the strings fray and snap. The very hands that once orchestrated this symphony of deceit now tremble, powerless against the storm I have summoned. The audience watches, their eyes alight with a mixture of horror and fascination. They once reveled in my brilliance, but now, as the spotlight shifts, I am exposed, a grotesque figure stripped of the armor of lies. Their admiration has withered, replaced by a thirst for justice, a hunger for retribution. I can almost taste their satisfaction as they feast on my downfall, a banquet of schadenfreude served on the silver platter of my demise. What was once a dance of manipulation has become a macabre performance, and I am the unwilling star, trapped in a tragic tale of my own making. As the truth unfurls its ruthless embrace, I sense the darkness closing in, a familiar specter that lingers at the edges of my consciousness. It is a haunting reminder of the journey that brought me here, a path paved with ambition and arrogance. I see now that the intoxicating allure of power was but a mirage, a fleeting ghost that led me into the abyss. The shadows, once my allies, now loom larger than life, their presence a constant reminder of the betrayal I inflicted upon myself. Irony drips from every word, as the very darkness I wielded has turned against me, a serpent coiling tighter with each failed attempt to regain control. In this unraveling, I find a perverse satisfaction. It is the justice I had long sought but never recognized. The lies that once served as my shield have become my chains, anchoring me to the very depths I sought to escape. Each revelation is a blade, cutting through the fabric of my existence, revealing the raw, exposed truth beneath. I welcome the pain, for it is a purging fire that cleanses the soul. With every breath, I inhale the smoke of my own destruction, allowing it to fill my lungs and ignite a spark of clarity. The darkness, once a haven, now serves as a crucible, transforming the ashes of my ambition into the strength I never knew I possessed. In this moment of despair, I find a flicker of resilience. I am not merely a victim of my own design, I am a survivor, rising from the wreckage of my own making. The shadows may linger, but they no longer define me. They are the backdrop against which I will forge my path. The truth may have come crashing down upon me, but it has also illuminated the way forward. In this dance of lies and revelations, I stand at the precipice, ready to embrace the inevitable. The unraveling is not the end, but the beginning of something far more profound, a chance to reclaim my narrative, to redefine power not through deceit, but through the strength that emerges from the ashes of my own folly. The reckoning has arrived, and from its depths, I will rise anew, not as the manipulator I once was, but as a force shaped by the very trials that sought to consume me. In the shadows where light fears to tread, a crucible of justice brews, dark and potent. Here, among the remnants of a shattered empire, I find myself cloaked in solitude, a lone figure navigating the labyrinth of my own making. This darkness, once a comfort, now wraps around me like a shroud, its weight a stark reminder of the power I wielded and the respect I squandered. It is a bitter pill, this realization that the very throne I sat upon, carved from the bones of betrayal, has become a prison of my own design. The shadows whisper secrets, tales of those who were once enchanted by my charm, now mere phantoms drifting away into the night. They linger like ghosts, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and disdain, as if they too have tasted the bitterness of deceit. In this desolate landscape, I am a king without subjects, a ruler stripped of the adoration that once filled the air like sweet perfume. The echoes of laughter have faded, replaced by the chilling silence of abandonment. It is ironic, isn't it? The very power I sought to command has reduced me to a specter, haunting the corridors of my crumbling fortress. Yet, there is a strength that rises from this abyss, a fire ignited not by the warmth of companionship, but by the sheer force of survival. It is in the solitude that I discover the raw essence of who I am. The darkness does not break me, it refines me, like iron forged in fire. Each moment spent in this desolate realm strips away the facade, revealing the truth beneath, the truth that power gained through manipulation is as fragile as spun glass. I stand at the edge of this void, staring into the abyss, and instead of fear, I feel an exhilarating rush. This is where I find clarity, where the lessons of the past converge into a singular truth. In the depths of chaos, I learn that strength is not merely the absence of fear, but the ability to face it head-on. The lies that once served as my armor now lie in tatters around me, and it is here, in this broken landscape, that I gather the pieces of my shattered self. The irony is palpable. Those who once feared my power now find solace in my downfall. Yet, I will not grant them the satisfaction of witnessing my despair. Instead, I will rise from the ashes of my own destruction, a phoenix reborn, not from the light but from the very shadows that sought to consume me. As the darkness envelopes me, I embrace it, not as a prison but as a sanctuary. It teaches me the value of vulnerability, the strength that comes from admitting one's failures. The manipulator I was is fading, replaced by a figure molded by trials and tribulations. In this crucible of shadows, I discover the essence of true power, a power rooted not in deceit but in authenticity, in the recognition of one's flaws and the courage to confront them. The time for reckoning draws near, and in this moment of introspection, I invite the darkness to guide me. It is here, amidst the ruins of my past, that I will forge a new path, one illuminated by the truths I have long evaded. I am not merely a puppet on the strings of fate, I am the master of my own destiny, ready to reclaim the narrative that was stolen from me. The shadows may threaten to engulf me, but I will not cower. Instead, I will harness their power, transforming my solitude into a weapon against the very forces that sought to dismantle me. As I stand on the precipice of this new chapter, I realize that the darkness is not the enemy, it is the crucible in which my strength is forged. The shadows reveal the truths that the light often obscures, and from this profound understanding, I will emerge, not as the manipulator of old, but as a force to be reckoned with, a harbinger of justice born from the depths of despair. The journey has been fraught with peril, but in the end, it is the shadows that will illuminate my path forward, guiding me towards a destiny I will seize with both hands. In the echoing silence of a once vibrant throne room, the final act unfolds like a tragic play, where the curtain is drawn on the life of a manipulator. The air hangs heavy with the scent of decay, reminder that power, when forged in the fires of deceit, crumbles to dust. Here lies the inevitable reckoning, a moment when the lies that once spun a web of admiration dissolve into the harsh light of truth. The shadows that once shielded the manipulator now conspire against them, whispering the secrets that hunger for exposure. Alone, they confront the specter of their own making, a reflection marred by arrogance and betrayal. The throne feels colder than ever, a seat that once radiated warmth now feels like a solitary cage. The laughter of sycophants has faded into a haunting silence, leaving only the echo of hollow promises and unfulfilled dreams. It is a desolate reminder that loyalty, like a fragile thread, can snap under the weight of a single lie. As the truth unfurls, each layer of deceit is peeled away, revealing the raw, exposed nerve of vulnerability beneath. The manipulator stands at the precipice, the abyss yawning wide before them, waiting for the final plunge. The very power they once wielded so carelessly now turns upon them, a ravenous beast eager to reclaim what was never theirs to possess. Their arrogance, once a shield, now serves as a noose, tightening with each passing moment. But oh, how the darkness revels in this chaos. In the shadows, there is a twisted sense of justice, a reckoning that time delivers with cruel precision. The audience that once adored has shifted, their eyes now glint with contempt rather than reverence. They have become the jury, and the verdict is clear: the manipulator is guilty of hubris, of sacrificing integrity on the altar of ambition. The applause that once roared now echoes with jeers, a cacophony of disillusionment that drowns out the last remnants of glory. And yet, there is a strange beauty in this unraveling. From the ashes of their grand deception, the manipulator may yet find a flicker of redemption. The solitude that once felt like a weight now transforms into a crucible. It is here, stripped of the falsehoods, that they might discover the strength to confront their own demons. The shadows, once a cloak of protection, now serve as a mirror, reflecting the depths of their own treachery. What is power, if not a fleeting illusion? A mirage that dances just beyond reach, tantalizing and cruel. The manipulator's legacy is a tapestry woven of lies, each thread fraying under scrutiny, each stitch unraveling with the passage of time. They stand, not as a conqueror but as a cautionary tale, a reminder that the path paved with deceit leads only to isolation. The final fall is not just a descent but a transformation. In their darkest hour, they must face the reality that true strength lies not in the shadows of manipulation but in the light of honesty. And in this moment of reckoning, there is an invitation, a challenge to confront the uncomfortable truths that linger in the hearts of those who once idolized them. It is a call to recognize that the fleeting nature of power gained through deceit is a hollow victory, leaving behind only echoes of what might have been. As they confront the consequences of their actions, the manipulator must grapple with the solitude that accompanies their choices. Friends have turned into specters, allies into adversaries, and the world they crafted crumbles around them. The irony is palpable, the architect of their own demise, trapped in a labyrinth of their making, where every exit leads back to the shadows. And so, as the curtain falls on this tragic tale, a powerful truth emerges: a life lived in the shadows is a life destined for solitude. The moral of this story is inscribed in the very fabric of existence. The web of lies ultimately ensnares the liar, and the darkness, while a crucible of strength, also reveals the stark reality of consequence. In the end, the price of manipulation is steep, and the reckoning may be the only path to true freedom. Unleash your thoughts if you believe that true power is forged in the shadows, where the darkness reveals strength and the echoes of deceit become the seeds of justice. Share this message if you faced the abyss and emerged stronger, for only those who dare to confront their demons can rise from the ashes. Leave a comment about a moment when betrayal transformed you, and subscribe for more stories that delve into the depths of motivation born from chaos. Remember, the path to redemption is paved with the truth that lies in the heart of darkness.